What if I told you the Galaxy S26 Ultra isn't going to look completely new, but still feels like one of the most refined Samsung flagships yet? That's the big question fans are asking, and now we finally have a good idea of what Samsung's top model for next year will look like. Thanks to fresh renders, we get our first proper look at the Galaxy S26 Ultra, and it seems like Samsung is mixing the old with the new in a very calculated way. Let's start with the design. If you're familiar with the Galaxy S25 Ultra, the overall frame of the S26 Ultra won't shock you. It's got that same flat frame, the slightly rounded corners, and the premium vibe that Samsung fans are used to. But there's a twist this time. For the first time since 2021, Samsung is bringing back the camera island on the Ultra model. Instead of separate camera lenses floating on the back like we saw in the last few years, the S26 Ultra will group them together inside a proper island. And here's the interesting part: it looks a lot like what Samsung did with the Galaxy S25 Edge. That small change actually makes a big difference in how the phone looks. It feels a little more cohesive and familiar, while still giving it its own identity. Of course, with this design choice, we get the usual side effect wobble. The renders show that the phone will be around 7.9mm thick, while the camera island will stick out about 4.5mm. So yes, if you place it on a desk, it's going to rock a little when you tap on it. That's nothing new for a Samsung flagship though, unless the company ever decides to move the cameras to the center. This wobble is here to stay, but there's another change that's pretty important if you're someone who uses the S Pen all the time. The renders show the S Pen sitting at the very edge of the bottom left corner. That's a subtle difference, but it's happening because the S26 Ultra is slightly thinner than the S25 Ultra. To make it fit, Samsung has had to reshape the S Pen's back, and the little clicker isn't flat anymore. It's a small change, but if you're used to the feel of the old S Pen, you'll definitely notice it. Now, here's where expectations come in. If you were hoping for a radical new look for the Ultra, you might be a little disappointed. Samsung isn't reinventing the wheel here. In fact, the only model in the Galaxy S26 series that's expected to feel truly new is the S26 Edge. That one could get a bold design with a camera island stretching across the top half of the phone, something similar to what Apple is calling the camera plateau on the iPhone 17 series. The Ultra, meanwhile, is sticking to a more familiar design language. But before you write it off as boring, here's where things get exciting. What Samsung is saving for the inside might be the real story. The S26 Ultra is rumored to come with Samsung's most advanced OLED panel yet.